autobiography, I'm writing about my own life. There's certain rules I tend to follow. I have to be careful about when I'm writing about other people, about what I'm saying. I don't want to I don't want to just write about someone just to make them look bad. What I really want to get at is a situation. So when I'm writing about a relationship and getting dumped, I'm not writing about how awful this girl was to me. I'm writing about that experience that everyone goes through of being sad and upset by something. And then with the humorous work, I can just do whatever I want and really let my mind go crazy and have fun. That humor work has actually led to some projects that have helped pay the bills more than the books even sometimes do. This is a comic that just came out from Marvel Comics, which I grew up reading. You guys know X-Men, and that was like my favorite comic growing up. And Fantastic Four was another one I liked, and I had the chance to do a 2-page story in here, which was kind of like fulfilling the childhood dream. And then I also got to do, for the Simpsons Treehouse of Horror comic, I got to do an 8-page story in here, which was really great. And both of those projects are projects that paid well, and it's a different thing when you're working with someone else's characters and properties. You don't have the same rights as an artist, and technically, like for the Simpsons comic, Fox owns the artwork that I made for that. Whereas when I'm doing my own projects, I get to keep the artwork. Sometimes I'll sell it, different things. So just to get back to process, so I'll pass these around too. These are a couple of the sketchbooks that I've actually drawn comics in. This was a story that I started and then abandoned partway through, and then this is the original sketchbook for the book Every Girl is the End of the World for me. So you can see how I actually work in terms of drawing the comics versus how they end up being printed. What I like about sketchbooks is that you kind of get a sense of the book as this real object before it's even printed. And I think maybe that's like my art school background kind of creeping back in. But the other reason I do it is I like to draw wherever. So actually, like in between the sessions this morning, I could just sit here and draw on my sketchbook. Whereas most cartoonists, they work on these huge sheets of Bristol board, and they have brushes with ink that they're using to draw, or they'll have little ink wells with pens to dip in. And you kind of get stuck in your house if you're working like that. And I like to go to coffee shops to draw and just hang out for a while. And drawing in sketchbooks like this lets me do that. It does cause a little bit of complications when I'm going to get from having a comic drawn in a sketchbook to having like an actual printed book. To scan the artwork in, I have to kind of flatten the book out and make sure that the shadow from the inside of the book doesn't show up and things like that. And the same would go when I started out doing mini comics and just taking it to like a Xerox machine, and you kind of have to hold the lid down to make sure that the book stays flat. I brought some examples of mini comics to show you. Most of these happen to be autobiographical, but